Next thing you know, you're falling. Oh, because she used like an anti-spell or something. The next thing you know, you're falling, your human limbs flailing. Thanks to your fast reflex, you manage to snatch Krea's window bar. Arrest yourself before slamming down onto the street. Below now, you're hanging completely naked in the corner of your vision. See fast movement. You turn just in time to see a flash of feathers. The bird doesn't make a sound. All you realize. As a bat, you make easy prey, says Egra. Okay. Krea, you hisses through the window. The bars are shut, the glass is open. Presumably, you let in the warm summer air. A body pops up from the bed, illuminated by the dying embers in the fireplace. Krea approaches the window cautiously. Even with the low light of the room, you can see the sleep retreating from her eyes as she beholds your pleading face. Rooster, she whispers, I thought you were out for the night, and a sentence catches in her throat as she gets to the window and looks down. What in the nine hells? Quickly unlock the bars. You whisper. She scoffs. Are you drunk? Do you actually expect me to let you into my bed chambers as you swing your genitals about like it's a flag of Eucharius? What the fuck is Eucharius? Krea, I can explain. You say, I swear by the old gods that I'm not drunk. Egra is laughing hysterically in your mind. Krea stares at your face for a moment and shakes her head, then turns. I swear, Rooster, if you have any unseemly intentions, Hawes will bite you where you fear most. Krea points at her familiar, the fat white rat who is perched on the table near the bed. Hawes' whiskers are up, his nose twitching. You imagine him working to catch the scent of your manhood. Krea turns with the key and unlocks the bar. For the second time in as many nights, you swing around the grate, and after some contortation, and manage to slink into the room. What do? Puff over your chest and stand proudly. Request a blanket to your wrap yourself. Yeah, probably that. Request a blanket. Blanket, if you please, you say, pointing at the bed. Swiftly, Krea goes to the bed and pulls the blanket off, throws it to you. You wrap the blanket around you and turn from her for a moment to inspect your body. You have no life-threatening wounds. One thing you notice is that your manhood appears to be shrunk down to its most compact size. You suspect this is Egra's doing, and you now feel thankful to be covered. Oh, that would be hilarious if we would have stood up and it's like small. Krea steps over near her familiar and begins stroking the rat. You do not stink of drink, so I fear to ask why you run the outer rings uncovered. You shrug, uncertain of what to say. I enjoy a sense of freedom. Also, a naked man is a poor mark for muggers. Not a good mark for robbery, but an obvious target for beating. Beating madmen to death is a favorite sport in the city, says Egra. Squints at you slightly as though studying one of her spell books. Only hours ago I found you wearing women's clothing. Now I find you wearing no clothing at all. How will you be able to keep up on your payment to House Buddha here when you cannot even provide yourself with men's trousers? You stifle a chuckle. I admit that I have been having an unusual length of bad luck regarding fashion lately. I assure you it's not by my design. In any case, keep your secret in the blanket. She points to the door. Now leave. Krea, you take a deep breath. Allow me to explain later. Trust me that my nudity is the least interesting detail of my nights thus far. Krea crosses her arms. You have a tale to tell. You nod. Well, since you have already woken me, I may as well hear it. Let's go for the Thog tale. We're gonna tell her all about Thog, I guess. Are we? Before Krea will hear your story, she insists on changing out of her nightgown, so you find yourself facing a wall. There's the sound of fabric rustling. Perhaps you could allow me a peek to even the score, you say teasingly. Do not dare turn, Rooster, she says. I require respect. Also, I have a man already. Not that any woman requires one to avoid being oogled by the likes of you. If by man you mean fat, pale rat, then I'm sure you can do better. You say at least a little better. A man that would turn a two-legged ass into the natural four-legged variety, she says. What the hell does that mean? Oh, okay. You chuckle. The threat of transformation is not so frightening now that Egra has introduced you to it. Your man is a spellcaster then? You say. She doesn't answer. Where is your mage now? Collecting eyes of newt and griffin guano? Despite your teasing tone, you feel a slight pit in your stomach. Anger? He's no business of yours, and I'm sorry I mentioned it, says Egra. Jealousy, says Egra in your mind. Me jealous of a witch and a warlock? You say to Egra. Gods know what unnatural acts they have done together. The whore of a demon brothel would be more pure. It turns my stomach. What the fuck? The whore of a demon brothel would be more pure? That's hilarious. Egra laughs. Lie to yourself, but do not bother to lie to the gods. You're not a god, you say. In time. You may face me, says Egra, her voice weary. She's wearing her purple dress from yesterday. Now what have you to say? Krea stands by the fireplace as you recline on the bed telling your story. You leave a lot of your telling. You don't mention Egra or the vampire. You leave out of the part you're initially rescued by a small demon summoned by the trickster god. It was a tight escape that required the loss of my trousers, is what you say for that. When she asks for more details, you wave her off with the pretext of saving time. This isn't a complete empty excuse. Already you can see the first hints of morning light through the window. When you finish, you stare at Krea. The weariness of your adventure and sleepless night is beginning to creep up to you. You close your eyes. Normally, I would not believe such a tale. Such an adventure seems difficult to survive. Comes Krea's voice. Normally you would not believe, but this time you ask. Her eyes still shut. It's the details you left in and the ones you left out that ring true, says Krea. For one, I know why Bonebrow is ill even though you do not. You open your eyes and take a swig of Krea's foul, tepid tea. What the fuck? Okay, she made tea, okay. The captain... Oh, wait. Is her man, quote unquote, the fucking wizard that went with Bonebrow? Because if that's the case, then he has been taken over by one of the priestesses. I should probably mention that. It's the doppelganger. Captain had no grievous wounds that I could see. It's the doppelganger. Once your likeness is taken, a measure of your soul is pulled away, shared, I suppose. Your mortal body will gradually die as your double lives. She walks over to her spellbook and begins paging through it by candlelight. The Lathian priest will keep him drawing breath for a time, but I do not think he will awaken until the doppelganger is sane or chooses to release his soul. She looks up from the book to regard you. You're fortunate that you slew your own doppelganger as swiftly as you did. Saving Bonebrow is a simple matter, you say. Tell someone of the impostor, anyone. Let it be the duty to hunt Bonebrow's doppelganger. That's how it would work in normal world, but who knows? You know something of the cities. Whom do we tell? The Lathian priest would be obvious since they hold the proof the body of Bonebrow, says Krea absently as she peers down at her book. Bonebrow said there were other doppelgangers, one of his men and a mage. You say, maybe there's even more. The Lathian priest, perhaps, says Egra. You scoff. Little chance of the temple of Aletheia itself has been infiltrated. They ought to know a slave of Thok when she's standing right before them. Maybe not, says Krea, stepping away from a book, folding her hands. When you were before the Lathian priest, you say, the priest appeared surprised to see Bonebrow. The priest said that the Bonebrow should be at the path of blood. Yes, I thought the path of blood, whatever that is, might be a clue to where the impostor is, you say. The path of blood, born in the proper name of ceremony. It is a tradition in Ring City that whenever a woman of high noble blood is about to give birth, there is a formal celebration and blessing, says Krea. I have heard that there was one for Lady Wellington. Wellington, you spit, as in Lord Wellington, the man whose army I deserted? Not by blood. She is wed to Lord Wellington's nephew. Okay, says Krea. Her title is Lady Nilana Wellington. She's the second daughter of House Whiteborn, but is rumored that what? You say. Well, I'm not one for gossip, but it says that her real father is of House Ruda here, says Krea in whisper. Perfect. All the people I love most, you said sarcastically. Yeah, every motherfucker out here who wants to kill us is in the city at this point. Like, holy shit, how did this even happen? Mother of God. What is it? This area, this is called Ring City, right? Yeah, Ring City is getting us fucked up. Ring City looks like fucking Attack on Titan City, and it is just as worse. It might be more worse for us, at least in particular, because we have so many enemies. It's beyond everything at this point, and those people who are even neutral towards us will probably kill us, considering the places we tend to be in. Anyway, where were we? Yeah, perfect. All the people I love most, you say sarcastically. Do you think the doppelganger of Thok is mixed up in the ceremony of Lady Wellington's child-to-be? Can they take the appearance of a child? The ceremony includes representatives. Why the fuck did I said respectatives? Representatives from each of the rings of the city. The city guard provides security and representation. I would not think Bonebrow is of high enough rank even for the outer ring. The impostor may have. Krea allows the sentence to die out as though trying to finish the thought. Where does the ceremony take place? You say. The Duke's castle, you say. Yet the procession starts in the outer ring and continues to the middle ring, then the inner ring, picking up representatives along the way. There is a great deal of pomp and it takes most of the day. If there are representatives from the city, I suppose that includes the Lathian priesthood, you say. Krea nods. If the doppelganger is in the ceremony disguised as Bone Brow, then Thog's disguise is powerful indeed to fool the representative priests of other gods. And you would argue that those priests might be imposters too, you say. You see how complicated this is? Krea's eyebrows raise as she extends a hand to you. When pursuing shapeshifters, it is important to be subtle. And if they see you coming, they will transform again. What do you say? If he transforms, won't Bone Brow be free? Yeah, that's true. If Bone Brow's doppelganger transforms, that would release Bone Brow's soul, you say. Krea's parts her lips and then smiles. Good to see you're paying attention. She then loses a smile until the doppelganger takes Bone Brow's form again. Okay, so he can do it on his own. Okay, says Krea. Wait, so can the doppelganger go? So can he just do this remotely? Like he can transform into someone else and then retransform back to Bone Brow whenever she wishes, or she will have to go back to Bone Brow and take part of his soul again, which was released before, and do the whole thing again. If the Thog priestess change shapes, that ought to at least buy Bone Brow time. Yeah, so they can do it anytime. Okay, at the cost of surprise, says Krea. Fold your arms. We can leave that decision up to the proper authorities. Krea shakes her head. We need to surprise the doppelgangers, slay them all, says Krea. It would be too easy for at least one to escape. By if we, you mean not including Rooster, then I agree, you say. I meddle enough in the fair of gods tonight. It is good to see you are learning, says Egra in your mind. Krea leans against the wall, stares down to the floor. The castle, she whispers, as though to herself. She looks up to you, her eyes flashing in the candlelight. Together we could follow them and get to the bottom of this. With your illusions and my knowledge, we could do it. The only thing I want to get to is the bottom of a mug of ale and the bodies of a... You let your sentence drop and clear your throat to a bed. Krea scowls at you. I want Bone Brow to survive. I truly do, you say, putting your hands up defensively. He owes us both a good deal of coin, but we can only tempt the god of death so much before he takes us. Imagine the Duke's castle, says Krea in a low voice, almost a whisper. All that loot, gold those lords earned by birth, not merit. The gods would not mind if you tax those fools. It's not the gods with like us stealing. It's not the problem. That is not the problem. Let me tell you what the problem is. First of all, Irinova, we still can't tell what's up with her. We have House Rudahir's doll running around, which we don't know how she's related. House Rudahir is related to the Irinova. How? There's that big spellcaster Kalak, which I don't know much about, and there's that underground plot going with the God Slayer, which is like the character from the last game. There's also the Duke castle. If you broke into that, the Duke is not going to be very happy. How do we break into the inner ring? Probably through the sewers, but probably not going to end well. There was that laughing woman from one of the cloth shops or antique shops we went to at one point. There's Alethia's priest who are fucking over us. There's a Thog who's fucking over us. House Rudahir we have to pay a lot of money back to, or our sister's wedded or dead. I'm not sure what would happen to her if we do not give them the money. I think at this point, honestly, it would be much more effective to just leave the city, go to another city and start earning. That would be much easier for our ass. Fucking hell. This would not end well. Alright, she's just trying to get our greed, you chuckle. The gods will not mind if you tax those fools, you chuckle. You would have me commit treason against the lords of your own lands. Do you know how many parties I've angered already? As a deserter who have already no friend of Lord Wellington, and by extension no friend of the Duke, says Krea, her smile widens. Why stop now? You turn away, look at the window. The faintest light is crawling up the sky. I still don't know how it's not morning by now. Behind you there's a sound of pages turning. Krea whispers a few words you do not understand, yet it raises the hairs of your arm. Perhaps you turn around to see what she is up to, but you cannot seem to muster the energy. Imagine going from a naked, frightened man in a flea-infested inn to unfathomable wealth, Krea says soothingly. Now that would be a tale for the bards, not frightened, you mumble. This one has tricks of her own, says Krea. I'm rather beginning to like her. The floorboard creaks, you feel a gentle pressure on your shoulder. You don't have to look over to see that she's biting your shoulder from behind through the night. That's an illusion. So boring. It's old stuff.